Greetings and happy November to you. I'm happy to be sharing some remarks about stewardship today. I found St. Paul's Carroll Gardens as a new mom. My son's dad had a restaurant on Smith Street at the time, and I would stroll us down from Prospect Heights to services. The first service I remember was in spring of 2012, and I remember a kind parishioner remarking that my baby reminded him of himself at that age. And I also remember a warm, welcoming greeting from Father Peter Cullen. My Episcopal journey is one of a series of St. Paul's. My great great grandfather was the Reverend John B. Wicks of St. Paul's, Paris Hill in Oneida County in central New York. He fought in the Civil War from 1862 to 1865 before becoming ordained as an Episcopal priest in 1870. Later in his life, he accompanied Cheyenne warrior David Pendleton Okerhater, Okuhatu, whom he confirmed at St. Paul's, to initiate missions among Native peoples in territory that is now Oklahoma. The Episcopal Church named Okerhater an Episcopal saint in 1985, and Reverend Wicks wrote about his time in the territory, living there with his family. It's quite remarkable to read that. He was also an avid bird lover, and he wrote two books, one called My Bird Parishioners and another one called Bird Paradise. I was baptized at Paris Hill in 1980, as was my younger brother in 1987. You can actually walk through the cemetery there and find burial plots of my ancestors going back to the mid-1700s. We as a family attended special services there in the summers until the church shuttered. I think that happened maybe in the early 90s. So I've lived in New York City since starting law school here in 2003, and I attended the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in my early 20s. I was confirmed by Reverend Winnie Varghese, who was then chaplain at Columbia. She later baptized my son when she was the rector at St. Mark's in the Bowery. But before moving to New York City, the longest I'd lived in one place was in Endicott, New York, upstate, from the ages of 8 to 15. And there my family attended another St. Paul's Episcopal Church, Owego, where I was an avid acolyte, and I enjoyed serving on the altar. I did so faithfully and almost weekly for many of those years. My son and I did come back to St. Paul's Carroll Gardens, and I would like to share some words about what St. Paul's means to me at this point in my life. So first, it's the rhythm and rituals of the church calendar and the constancy of community. Week in and week out, communion with God, our Sunday school lessons, and the constancy of kind greetings from fellow parishioners 100% restore and fulfill my heart. Second, I would say it's the human dimensionality amongst us. So God is certainly working through the fellowship at St. Paul's. There's no question. For me, people continue to emerge as three-dimensional, complicated, authentic, fascinating humans inviting me into relationship. And I feel that this sacred space that we're in gives us the grace to disagree and share opinions and find and make offerings from deep in our wells. Which leads me to the third element of giving. So without a doubt, the capable and humble leadership in our church inspires me on a daily basis to pay forward the gifts that have been offered me here. And in fact, I would say within hours of self-reflection and setting an intention to give more on multiple separate occasions, I've received an invitation to do more and be of more service to more people on a more regular basis. Many of us are seeking those invitations in our lives. I know I was before finding St. Paul's, and I know I still am, particularly when it comes to issues of racial justice and mercy. I very much value the work that we're doing in that space. And I believe with all my heart that God is here among us and that we can do brave, needed things together, and supporting and sustaining those efforts, building on the strong foundations from the generations that we have at St. Paul's Carroll Gardens, will continue to challenge us all to do and be better. So thank you for listening. This concludes my remarks. I wish you all continued wellness, and I very much look forward to the time when we can be in one space together again. Thank you very much. Take care.